Hello everyone, Jamarcus here, and I am here with finals of HCL Season 2. We're facing Roller, who, surprise, made it to finals. He was steamrolling everybody in the regular season, and now I get the opportunity to face him. After a bit of a grueling loser's side bracket, we've made it, and it should be an interesting game. I think we probably have the top two teams in the league, and I know he's a very good player, and like Smoke On and stuff, I've seen him. So I know I've got my work cut out for me. With that being said, I did not have as much time as I would have liked to prepare for this game. I had 3 games this week. This was my last game of the week, and it was also my first week of my last semester of university. So I had a lot going on, but we'll see what we can get done here. First thing I'm noticing, Specs Dragapult. Where's the switch in? Terra Normal Hariyama and a Greninja are the resists, and like AV Hydrapple can take it as well, or maybe like Spadef, Treads, or Zapdos. But I'm bringing Specs Pult. I can bring Modest, it should be pretty good at cutting through the team. Let's just look at the team that I'm bringing. First off is Decidueye coming off the bench since like week 2. He's just been bench riding, but it looks really good here. It's faster than a lot of their bulk, and Terra Electric only really is threatened by Iron Treads, and I OHKO Treads after like a bulk up, and they don't OHKO me. So if they want to make that trade, I think that's a trade that's worth it for me. That avoids rocks going up, which that is their only rocker. And it also avoids removal, which is one of their only ways of removing. Or their only way of removing. Yeah. So if they make that trade, great. Otherwise, it's pretty hard for them to kill, unless they're like Banded Glaive Rush. Then that'll do the trick. Triple Arrows is really nice for cheesing through like Terra Steel or Terra Water Hydrapple. Then if they're Terra Fairy, which I'm also expecting, it's really good for Pheasantipity. Because Pheasantipity plus Aloe is like my defensive core that I'm bringing to this game. I think it's going to be hard for my opponent to break through it, but we'll see. I'll see it as Bulk Up Roost, Max Spadef, helps me set up on Gren and Zapdos forever. It's also nice for Hydrapple and Hatterene especially. Hatterene can't really touch me. They can be Psyshock, but I have Bulk Up, and they can be Psychic Noise, but that's not going to do that much damage. And Terra Blast, Electric, especially if they come in and get a defense drop from Triple Arrows. Should be able to cut through the team. It's probably what I'm leading with, but it'll depend at team preview what I all see. Next up, mixed defensive Mola. Just a general pivot to anything with boots. You can pivot in on backs one time. I gotta watch out for Swords Dance, of course, but I can just Baton Pass out. I'm bringing Baton Pass because of the potential of Water Absorb. As much as slip turn damage would be nice. It also avoids static on Zapdos with Baton Pass, which is nice. I'm bringing Scald mostly for treads. I figured I wanted Wish and Protect this game, so I could really only fit in one move, and I thought Scald was better than like Play Rough or Alluring Voice, because then Treads just kind of walls me forever. And I don't have Flip Turn, so I'm not really doing much damage to it, and I need damage on it. I want to put it in range of Specs Pult. That being said, I do have Keldeo, which is faster in OHKOs, but putting it in range of Pult would be good. Here's Dragapult. I have Fire Blast, 2 OHKO Treads if I need to, but mostly just clicking Shadow Ball, or if for some reason Hat doesn't show up, and there's not Terra Fairy on Hydrapple, or it hasn't Terra'd yet, Draco's pretty free to click. And Draco's kind of here to like force Hydrapple to Terra. I found in the one mock I did, which was against myself, I was having a hard time forcing Hydrapple to Terra. I needed it to Terra for Excadrill, if it's Terra Steel, and getting it into like the Fairy typing, so that like it doesn't resist water anymore or something. For Keldeo was really important. So Draco kind of helps do that. Same thing with Decidueye, forcing it to Terra to maybe resist Triple Arrows if they're Terra Fairy. Next up, Spadef Pheasantipity. This is my somewhat check into a Hydrapple. It helps if they're not Terra Steel. I do have Heat Wave for Terra Steel and for Iron Treads, just to force some damage at least, to put them in range of like a Revenge Killer. after I U-turn out or something. But Split F Pheasantipity also helps quite a bit for Zapdos and like Battle Bond Gren. Otherwise, just U-turn Roost. Next up, Weakness Policy Drill. Enough speed so that I outspeed Gren after a rapid spin. Rocks with Mold Breaker can set up rocks into Hat, which is really helpful. I knew I wanted hazards this game, but I was struggling to see how to get hazards up. But then, obviously, Mold Breaker rocks will do the trick unless they're ability shield. And then just Earthquake hits the team really hard, except for Hydrapple pre-Terra, and then I have Rock Slide for Zapdos, which is what I'm expecting to activate my weakness policy with Heat Wave, but it could also be a Mystical Fire from Hat, or an Earth Power from Hydrapple. And then just a little bit of Split F to help me take that super effective move a bit better. Walled by Hydrapple before it Terras, but after it Terras, a little better, especially if it's Terra Steel, of course. But I think any Terra type could show up this game. And then last up, Keldeo. Mystic Water, just a fast attacker. I can like switch in on backs once, or twice even. Just does solid damage to the team. Like AV Hydrapple with Terra Fairy pretty much hard walls me, but then I know it's AV, it's going to take rocks. Mystic Water Surf just does a lot of damage after Hydrapple Terras. This is the main reason I want Hydrapple to Terra, is so that I can just spam Surf. It's really strong into the team. I have Vacuum Wave to help out against a Bax or a Battle Bond Gren. So that's the team we're working with. What do I expect to see? Gren, initially I thought no. Gren looks terrible into my team. I have a Meowscarada, I have a Keldeo, a Pheasantipity, like it doesn't do any damage to my team. But they really need something to revenge kill. So I think Scarf Gren is like forced after looking at the matchup a little closer, because their team really struggles to revenge kill things without a Greninja. The priorities somewhat lacking. They have Bax, which is solid priority, and then like Hariyama. And I think Ice Shard on Frostlass. But yeah, their priority is just not great. So they really rely on Gren to revenge kill something like a Specs Dragapult. Or even like a Keldeo of some kind. Because otherwise Keldeo's faster than everything, except for Frostlass, but I don't think Frostlass is coming. So yeah, I think Gren's gonna show up. I think Dreads will show up. I think Zapdos will probably show up. I think Bax will show up. I think Hydrapple will show up. And I think Hat will show up. I think top 6, honestly, is what's coming. I can see a world where Hariyama shows up for Arcanine with Thick Fat. It's a pretty decent check into it. Like, I don't think they're bringing webs. They have Clear Body Pult. And also, like, I'm bringing Boots on quite a few guys. This is a pretty boot spam team. Like, I have pretty bad Chandelure switch-ins. If they bring, like, Scarf Shadow Ball, it could be solid to me. And then, yeah, I don't think Muck, unless you're really scared of Pheasantipity or Frostlass, are showing out. So we do see the Hariyama over the Iron Treads, so there's no rocks and there's no removal, which is really nice for me. And that's also incredible for my Decidueye. There's nothing to hit it super effectively, unless it's like Headlong Rush Hariyama or Earth Power or Earthquake on Bax or Hydrapple. So I'm leading Decidueye, and I'm just going to start getting some work done. Gren leads, totally fine with me. I'm just going to Terrablast, Triple Arrows. After Protean, I won't kill, but if they were gonna like stay in and ice beat me, then I could have just Triple Arrows and killed them. But I only do 45, so I actually wouldn't have. They have either like max HP or quite a bit of defense. But that's totally fine. I get a defense drop, which is great, which means the next Triple Arrows will kill. But seeing as this is lead Gren, maybe Scarf, it's pretty much a free bulk up for me. I don't think they're going to sack this, and if they do, they don't do much to me. I can just roost the next turn if they attack. So I'm just going to bulk up here, and while there is a spike up, I can spin. They have no ghost type, and Drill's faster than 3, maybe 4 of their mons. So spin should be pretty reasonable to get off this game. They go into Hydrapple, totally fine. I bulk up and I'm just going to Triple Arrows. I get a crit and a defense drop, fantastic. Earth Power doesn't do much because I'm max F. We're both leftovers. And the next Triple Arrows here will kill. In comes Hat, totally fine. Again, this doesn't do much to me. I think I Terra Blast Electric this turn, yep. does solid damage, tells me they're max defense as the reflect goes up. So it screens, I'm just going to bulk up in front of this. Not much they can really do to me. Maybe they have Psychic Noise and chip me down though. That's probably worst case. They get up another screen and I'm going to get up another bulk up. It's going to make me really hard to revenge kill. Makes me like banded backs. Can't kill me with Glaive Rush or something. Hydrapple comes back in. And it still's not Terra, so I'm going to click triple arrows. If they're Terra Fairy, that's okay. That makes them pretty weak to Pheasantipity. So there's the Terra Fairy. Get a defense drop. Fantastic. As a nasty plot. So Terra Blast Electric should 2-hit KO them here. Just barely outside of Leftovers range, but they do Giga Drain anyway, so they get out of range of that. So last Giga Drain did 52%. I'd probably die to this next one. There's a world where I could go Pheasantipity, but with a screen up, I'm not really doing that much damage to them. Even though it's super effective. So I just click Terra Blast Electric here to do some damage to them so that I can revenge kill with Pheasantipity. Because they didn't bring treads and this is Terra Fairy, there's no Sludge Bomb switching on their team. Nothing really likes taking a poison. So I just click Terra Blast Electric here, expecting to go down, but I live on 1%, so they've got a pretty high roll first time around and a bit of a lower roll. Living that is fantastic for me. It means that I can Terra Blast Electric once again, and then I'll actually be able to revenge kill with Pheasantipity, and something will be forced to either die to Hydrapple or come in on a Sludge Bomb. So I sat and thought here for a minute or two. I can Terra Blast Electric this Hydrapple, kill it, revenge kill with Pheasantipity. Seems pretty solid, but are they going to let me do that to their Hydrapple? And I thought maybe they go backs on my Terra Blast Electric. It's not going to do anything, and then they can revenge kill me. Do I want to click triple arrows this turn on a potential back switch it? And I really considered, I didn't make the play. And as you can see, I wish I did. Yeah, Terra Blast Electric doesn't do much, although it does something. It actually puts them in range of Secret Sword, or at least gives me a roll for Secret Sword to kill. Whereas at full health, this would not die to Secret Sword. So that damage is good, but had I just triple arrows, and I don't actually know if it would have killed, but it would have put them in range of Vacuum Wave from killed. So it would have been fantastic. But also clicking triple arrows into this Hydrapple that's about to kill me wouldn't be like ideal. But also I could have just flinched, so maybe it was a risk I should have taken. Hard play to call though. Still in a really good spot. I've got half on this Grin, I've got half on Hat, and I know it's set. I know Hydrapple's set. And I've forced the Terra, which is, again, is what I've wanted. I've gotten way more out of this Decidueye than I was planning anyways, so I didn't feel the need to make all these calls. I go into Mola, because the screen's up. I didn't want to go hard Keldeo, because with a light screen up, I can't revenge kill them anyways. So I go Mola to basically buy Keldeo a turn. I can now Baton Pass into Keld to revenge kill backs. They Swords Dance, that's okay. Keld comes in. This always kills if they have no bulk. Assuming they have some bulk, it's a roll, but I pretty much have no other play, right? My Mola's kind of walled because I only have Scald. I don't have Play Rough or something. In hindsight, maybe Play Rough would have been better. But I don't think they're going to stay in anyways. I do Secret Sword though. I don't want to play it too risky. In comes Zapdos and it does way more than it's supposed to. This thing's fully offensive. Surf doesn't quite kill. And I also wouldn't have stayed in anyways. I don't want to risk them being Scarf. So I go into Pheasantipity. I thought maybe I go Excadrill, get the weakness policy active. But Drill dies to Hurricane into Heat Wave from this. And I'm slower if they're just max speed. So I go Pheasantipity instead. I'm max with F. I think I can handle this Zapdos. The agility. So had I gone Drill, I could have just got my weakness policy and Rock Slide, but then my whole Drill's dead, whereas I can just use Pheasantipity. They miss Hurricane. Great for me, of course, but wouldn't have done too much. I get the Poison as well, so really great turn. They Hurricane again. They do get the Confusion, and their Life Orb Zap. But I Sludge Bomb again, and they die to Poison. And I break through the Confusion, which is great. In comes Bax, that's okay. Zapdos is dead, which makes Earthquake really free from X control, especially because I forced Terra on Hydrapple, and I know, based on the damage, by the way, that they're max special attack Hydrapple, which means Earthquake does like 40% to them. So if I get up rocks, Earthquake, like if I get some high rolls, could kill them because of leftovers. I go hard Keldeo on backs because I don't want to go Mola again. Keldeo can live any hit from them, unless they like click Glade Rush, which maybe would have killed. I don't actually know, but also that means they're clicking Glade Rush into a Pheasantipity, which is a hard play to make. So I go hard Keld, force them out with Secret Sword. I didn't quite feel like flip turning or surfing on these turns. I do later, but Bax is a really big threat, so I wanted to play a little safe around it. I still have a Pheasantipity for this Hydrapple, which I could use. And I go Pheasantipity here. I wanted to go Excadrill here actually, but because they're max special attack, Giga Drain into Earth Power, which I know they have both, would kill my drill. So not a play I can really make. The Giga Drain, totally fine, and I'm going to Roost here. I think I Roost here, because I'm recognizing that, okay, my Decidueye, pretty much dead. My Excadrill will hopefully be able to trade against this Hydrapple, but Hydrapple is just totally going to beat Dragapult, Keld, Mola in the late game. So I need my Pheasantipity around to deal with this thing. So I Roost to get back to full. I am Boots, so the spike doesn't really matter, but I would like to spin at some point. I get this play wrong. I thought they would Swords Dance here. I didn't think they would Bicycle Shark. So that Roost was pretty much for nothing. I do barely live, but now I'm at 8%. And I U-turn out. And no poison, unfortunately. Had I got that poison, it would have been fantastic for this. But that U-turn does make it so Secret Sword guarantee kills. So my Pheasantipity is pretty much dead, but I should be able to Roost on Hydrapple. Earth Power only does 30 to 40% or so. And I can also heal up on Hat, depending on what his last move is, though Psyshock is going to do a lot. I go Keld, and I think I flip turn this turn. Yeah. I flip turn because I'm figuring, okay, they probably don't want to sack backs. And then at this point I can get in my Excadrill and get a spin off. Earth Power does not kill me, it'll activate my weakness policy and spin into Earthquake will kill this Hydrapple, so it pretty much forces a kill, assuming they click Earth Power here. If they go into Hariyama, then they would be okay. So I spin, get the spike gone, which is great. I don't think Ren's gonna really get another opportunity to get up a spike. The Earth Power doesn't kill, and I get my weakness policy. So Earthquake will kill this Hydrapple. I think it's 80% min, but if they give me that much damage, that's great. In comes Hat, gets sacked, so no more screens. That's good. It also makes Secret Sword a little freer to click. Hydrapple is really the only switch in to Keldeo now. In comes Bax to revenge kill me, but I figured my Excadrill is more useful than Decidueye at this point. Decidueye could pretty much only heal on Hat, so now that it's dead, I'm never going to get a chance to Roost. So I sack Decidueye instead. They're pretty much forced to attack here. There's no world that they can Swords Dance, they would just die. So down goes my Decidueye. Looking in a pretty good spot at this point. Keldeo comes in to revenge kill. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, they're not sacking backs. Hydrapple's at 84%, so I think it'll come back in at full. So I think I surf this turn. Yeah, I surf after leftovers doesn't quite do a KO, which is too bad, but flip turn will do some solid damage. And I can sack Drill. And then I think I get Pheasantipity to Roost here. Yeah. In comes Bax, totally fine. I think I go hard Keldeo here. The Icicle Spear again. I live 5, and I'm out of range of Ice Shard, which is really important, which I know that they now have that, because they revenge killed Excadrill with it. I click Surf again, I think, right? Yep. And now that 2 KOs this, which is fantastic. In comes Gren. I do 41%. And I click this turn really fast. Gren comes in, I can Vacuum Wave, kill it, easy. In hindsight, I wish I thought a little harder about the possibility of Hydrapple coming in. If they give me this Greninja, Specs Pult becomes a bit of a problem. They can't switch Hariyama into it. Ice Shard does not kill from Bax. They have no chip on me. And Hydrapple doesn't really like switching in on 2 Shadow Balls either. So they don't really revenge kill me. So they can also just go back into Hydrapple. After regen, they live Vacuum Wave into Surf. So I wish I would have at least considered clicking Surf this turn. I didn't consider it in the moment, and right as Hydrapple came in, I'm like, oh yeah, they could have obviously made that play. I could have surfed again. I'm pretty sure this Gren is choiced, which means they would have been choice locked, and I would have gotten a pretty free pivot or even a roost on Pheasantipity, which would be nice. So Surf is definitely a reasonable play I could have clicked there, and I wish I would have made that. So I Vacuum Wave. Gotta get a crit, but doesn't matter. Surf still does not kill, but I can go Pheasantipity on this. Earth Power comes out, totally fine. And I think I just roost this turn. I could have Sludge Bombed as backs came in, but I don't really need more damage on backs. Again, no poison, unfortunate. I go Mola here as the Swords Dance, and this thing's in range of Vacuum Wave, so in my mind, I was perfectly safe. I out-prioritize with Ice Shard, with Vacuum Wave over Ice Shard, that is, so I can always revenge kill this, doesn't matter. I'm just going to Scald to get a bit more damage, so that Vacuum Wave always kills. I think it was 40% min, so I wanted a little bit more damage. What I failed to consider was Scale Shot. They get a speed boost, of course. I would have lived 5 hits. I Scald, which pushed them in range of Vacuum Wave, but now their Ice Shot goes before my Vacuum Wave and kills me, and they just clean up the game. Nothing I can do at this point. You see I say GG in the chat, because I have no out at this point, given my team. If I was like Scarf Dragapult, and they clicked Icicle Spear instead of Ice Shard, or Scarf Sucker Punch, and maybe that kills, I don't know. But yeah, I don't have that, of course. So Ice Shard out-prioritizes Vacuum Wave, Pult comes in, dies to Ice Shard, and Pheasantipity dies to Icicle Spear. So, bit of a tough late game there. Maybe Play Rough killed from Mola, especially after the Scale Shot boost. I also had Protect. I could have just clicked that, and after I saw Scale Shot, maybe I would have realized that, hey, if they get a speed boost, I lose the game. But another play I could have just made was go back to Pheasantipity, prevent them from getting that speed boost. I can always revenge kill them with Keldeo. I didn't realize how dire of a spot I was in, so I was like, okay, I need to save Pheasantipity. I can roost again on Hydrapple. Totally fine. Also, like, pulsing with like Scarf Dark Pulse end games with Gren, because I would live. I failed to consider the speed boost. I thought I was safer than I really was with Vacuum Wave to revenge kill this. So, had I gone Pheasantipity that turn, would have forced a kill, but I could have always just Vacuum Wave to kill this. Now, they would have just gone back to Hydrapple, they would have been at full health, and I probably was in a losing point from the game anyways. I could never really get Dragapult into Shadow Ball, which was too bad. But overall, I think it played pretty well. I think my opponent also played really well. They had to make some tough calls, like going into Hydrapple. That's not really a tough call, that's like the easiest call of all time. But going back into Hydrapple on my Keldeo that one turn when I could have surfed. Also going backs on my +3 Decidueye early on in the game, because had I just killed backs there, would have been a much different game. Yeah, had I been like maybe Sash Pult, but I was pretty far gone at that point in the game. I don't think Pheasantipity was killing the rest by itself. So, another finals loss. Too bad. I'm 4-2 in finals now, but I can't be too mad. I know people who have been to like 5 finals games and have not gotten a cup yet, so 4-2 is not so bad. Generally happy with the team I brought. Specs Pult looked really good on paper, but it didn't actually do anything this game. It just died to Ice Shard. If I would have brought in like anything else on my team, like if I had a Mesprit instead of Dragapult here, I at least maybe would have not lost in that moment. But obviously I'm bringing Dragapult to the game. It's a Dragapult. Mola, pretty useless this game. Was not the end-all be-all slow pivot that I was hoping it to be. Just didn't find many points to come in. Didn't wish up anything. I think it clicked Scald once and died, which is too bad. Maybe I should have had Play Rough, would have helped Maybe it would have killed backs after it scale shot it. I don't know. But I think it was kind of necessary if they brought a bulkier team. Um, I needed staying power, which is why I had Pheasant Deputy. Pheasant Deputy was great this game. It was really necessary to switch in on the Hydrapple. And yeah, if they brought a bulkier team, I think Mola would have been more helpful there to have like staying power to like wish up Pult and repeatedly break the team. Really happy with Excadrill. The weakness policy paid off, forced a kill. Wish it would have forced a kill on Hydrapple instead of just the hat being sacked, but that was the right play for my opponent. Never got up rocks. Let me check the opponent's team here real quick. Yeah, so as expected, they were loaded dice on the backs. Getting up rocks at some point would have been really nice for it. It had a lot of intro points and they had no removal. So had I gotten up rocks, I don't think I ever would have lost a backs because they were up backs in like probably 3 or 4 times on my Pheasantipity throughout the course of that game. So they would have not had the health required. We'll put it that way. Hydrapple figured out the set. The Gren, they just had a lot of defense, not max HP like I thought they might be. The set makes sense though. Grass Knot I wasn't expecting though. I guess it's for like an AV Mola maybe. I don't know how much Grass Knot would do to that. Maybe for Keldeo they didn't want Extra Sensory, which I thought Extra Sensory looked a bit better, but it's being locked into Psychic move, maybe not so good. Lead Grin. And then Hariyama showed up Fizz Def with Thick Fat, makes sense, that's their Arcanine check. They were Belly Drum. So I didn't really have anything in my team to OHKO this, so even in the late game, had backs not swept, this thing would have been a problem. Screen Sat, not surprising, they had Nuzzle last move. So I could have just set up forever with Decidueye. And then Life Orb, Agility Zapdos. Not too surprising with 3 attacks. Life Orb Heat Wave would have done a lot of damage to my Excadrill, maybe even killed, because the spike was up. So I'm glad that I didn't go into Excadrill on Zapdos at that point in the game. And Decidueye, that lead Decidueye was incredible. Sweets gave me the initial idea to bring Decidueye. And after looking at it, I'm like, yeah, this thing, how do they kill this? It's going to force so much progress, and it totally did. I'm very glad that I brought it, and I brought the set that I did. I thought about bringing Trailblaze instead of Roost, like bulk up 3 attacks with leftovers, but I think Roost was definitely better here. Yeah, just forced half health on Gren, forced Terra on Hydrapple, learned what the hat set was. Really wish I clicked triple arrows on the backs coming in after the Hydrapple took some damage. Yeah, if I triple arrows this turn, I think I win the game like right away. But it's a really hard play to make, and I got so much more out of Decidueye than I was already expecting, so I didn't want to get too greedy. And this damage was important still, this Terra Blast damage to put them in range of Keldeo. Should I have just sacked at that point? I think it's fine that I literally didn't lose anything from going Mola and then Baton passing. So I am glad that I saved Decidueye. I thought I could probably heal up on Hat. Unfortunately, they sacked the Hat. Like a really meta play I could have made was like assuming the Hat sack, but I got my weakness policy. I was so ready to just click Earthquake into no resist. Could I have doubled into Decidueye and gotten a Roost off? Yes. That's a really hard play to make because they're not going to sack Hydrapple. I don't think they're going to sack anything else. Like maybe Hariyama gets sacked because it came for Arcanine, but Arcanine's not here. It's also like pretty good into Masquerada, and that's also not here. So I could have gone to Decidueye on this turn to Roost, but that's a really hard play to make, especially when I get the freest Earthquake. So hard to say if that was a better play. I mean, probably. I also Spike stood up. I realized I already spun, so I don't need to worry about living Spike, although I did. So I could have made that play. They would have got screens back up. I would have gotten back to full. And I would have pressured high trapple pretty well at that point, and then had a drill sack. I could have made that play, um, but hard to say. And then yeah, I just sack at this point. Generally happy with how I played. I definitely should have prevented the scale shot, obviously, by going Pheasantipity. And I could have just revenge killed with Vacuum Wave. But I don't know if I would have won the game anyways. I just didn't have quite enough damage on High Trapple. Shadow Ball Pult wasn't doing enough in this late game, I don't think. And I pretty much lost every other resource. So well played, Roller. Very much deserved. I would have been surprised if anyone else had won. I'm glad I could face him. In the regular season, there's 3 people that went 5-0, and I ended up playing the other 2. And I lost to both of them. So what does that tell you? But yeah, glad I got to face him. I made it this far. Let's take a look at the team. There's the team. Sorry for all the pausing. I know it cuts out the music, but I'm not gonna pause the music. I don't put it in post, so this is what you get. So Pulp Meow, not a duo that should exist. They're both like top 5 mods in draft. Maybe Meow's like just below top 5. But I don't know if it was actually that good. I don't know if they fit together. Because they're both like not immediately OHKOing things. And my team was really reliant on Arcanine to do that. And Arcanine couldn't show up every game. I mean, I think it was a solid team. Is it the best team I've ever drafted? No. Is it top 3? Probably. It's Dragapult, after all. I wasn't sold on Meow, to be honest. I know this thing's like really loved in Smoke on Draft right now. But like, I know King L5 did a video on, or a live stream on Meow Mola. Like right as I drafted this team, he did a live stream praising Meow Mola plus a breaker with Arcanine. Which that's what I had. His example was Terrachiyu though, which is a little better than Terra Arcanine. Although Arcanine probably does similar damage with Head Smash. So I was super happy to use this team at the start of the season, and I enjoyed using it. Didn't get as much use out of Mespert as I was expecting. I know this thing's really loved in Smoke on Draft as well with Healing Wish and all of its other support options. But I don't think it's as good in like 10 or 11 mon, because it's a lot harder to bring it every week. As you can see by the usage stats, only came to 3 games. I think two of the games it was just screens. The other week was against the Metronome team, which, see how that went. Pheasantipity was awesome. This thing's fantastic. Totally down to draft Pheasantipity again. It's a really nice budget fairy check. It's really good into Val, really nice into Enam, and threatens Terra Fairy mons a lot, which is one of the most spam Terra types. Mola's fine. I mean, I think it fit the team, like a slow pivot to get in my fast pivots to just spam U-turn, which was kind of the idea of the team. Everything in my team has a pivot move except Drill and Arcanine. My ground resists on the team were terrible. They were all at the bottom end of the draft. I had a Meowscarada as my ground resist for my first 7 mons. I guess Mola can kind of act as a ground resist at times as well. And then yeah, just spam some ground resist at the end with pivot moves. The Hazards game was a little weak. Like I hated having to fit rocks on Arcanine, which I had to do a couple times. Arcanine ended up being the kill leader. I think it had 5 kills by week 2 and then kind of slowed down afterwards. Pult's fantastic as always. It's not getting like tons of kills like maybe you'd expect it to. I balance the kills on this team pretty well. Kelly is awesome. It's my all-time kill leader. I'll always draft this thing if I get an opportunity to. Although I also really like Quaquaval, so you can't really get both of them. Drill as my removal was fine. I also had Defog Decidueye, which I never brought. But yeah, solid team. Gligar's also really solid. Probably shouldn't be your only ground type, but it's a nice backup hazard like setter. Pretty happy with the team. My plan was to draft Dragapult plus Ogerpon Cornerstone. but seeing as Meow made it back, I'm like, okay, a fast grass type with knockoff and hazards. I'm drafting on Cornerstone, but then Meow made it back, so I drafted Meow. Because not every day you're going to get to use those top two. Although I don't even know if they're that good together. Um, or maybe the rest of the team. I didn't focus on one or the other enough, and it felt like both were a little underwhelming, but Pult was still pretty solid. I think that's everything, right? I talked about every mon except Jumpluff, who didn't show up. I think Jumpluff's a good one-pointer, but unfortunately in 11 mon, you have so many options of what you can bring. Very rarely is your one-pointer the best mon, or the 6th best mon that you can bring. I think it's an alright mon. It's fast encore, it's pivot, strength sap, screens. It has some utility, it has a lot of utility really, but my team has so much utility that Jumpluff doesn't quite fit, I find. I think that'll do it. Thanks Harvey for hosting, of course. Thanks for forfeiting in losers semifinals or finals, whatever that week was, so that I could face Roller guaranteed after I beat MSR. GG's to all my opponents. It's a good time. Good getting to know some of the guys I haven't met before. And maybe I'll be back next season. Who knows? I'm in too many leagues. Always, it feels like. I'm only in 3, but now 2. It feels like too much. I might go back down to 1 league. We'll see. Thanks for watching, though. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.